So if you're just throwing this stuff at me, I'm just going to sit there and be quiet because I, A, am not going to argue with you. B, I don't care to change your mind. And C, I'm not going to speak out of my ass just so that you can throw an actual fact at me and then I'm sitting there looking stupid. So that was just like not the vibe I was on.
You've been wildin', blaming everything on your problems. I told you gotta keep it real with me. Send a long text and I ain't even bothered to read.
All right, hello everybody and welcome to another episode of, I almost said Perspective the podcast, but this is free therapy because we're on YouTube. So on this episode, as you read, I'm going to be reacting to and pretty much getting into my experience on the Fresh and Fit podcast. But first, before we start anything, I want to let anybody who's watching this know if you're in the Miami area, if you're visiting, anything like that, and you want to be on the show, please hit me up. I'd be so happy to have you. My Instagram is justjade with 2 E's 23. I'll put it in the description as well as the email. Hit me up and be a guest. We can talk about anything you'd like, really, and then we'll make something good out of it, you know? Okay. But, so the Fresh and Fit podcast, they are known on YouTube as the #1 men's self-improvement channel. And I could have sworn when I first went on there, like when I first got invited on there, it said the #1 men's self-empowerment. Am I saying this right? They're the #1 men's self-improvement. Yeah, okay. So I thought it said self-empowerment, and I thought to myself, okay, wait, why do men need to be more empowered than they already are, you know? So when I first got invited onto the podcast, I wasn't aware of it. I didn't really know much about it. You know, I'm obviously not their targeted demographic, so it never showed up on my For You page, anything like that, on YouTube, anything like that. So I did some research. I was only aware 2 days before I was going to get on the Monday. We made the date on Friday. I watched them over the weekend just to prepare myself for what I was getting into, and good thing I did. But I do want to, I'll be completely honest, I'm so grateful that they even allowed me on the platform because they are a distinguished podcast. They're like, have 450,000 followers. Like, they have a professional setup. That's somewhere I want to get to, regardless of the content that they're creating. I wanted to see the professionalism of it all, like how they get the guests on, how they treat everybody, like what they do with the equipment, what they're doing, what their setup is, everything like that. So when I was invited on, it was like, without a doubt, I'm going on because I wanna experience this. Like, this is an experience. And then, of course, their words, we'll just get into it. So pretty much what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some clips. I have some clip notes, made some annotations of mainly the times when I was on the screen so that we can react to that, because I don't want to speak on the other girls' situations or anything they were going through or what they were talking about, even though we all had to sign a waiver while we were there to allow them to use our likeness and use our image and everything like that. I don't want to talk about their business, you know, like I was on it. I'll talk about my experience on it. So I'm going to go ahead and put it on the screen. I'll be watching on my phone the same clips that you are, and we can get into it together. So here we go. Clip #1.
Yeah.
So when a girl says she's single, it means she's smashing. Okay, I mean, duh, bro. Obviously, no girl is ever celibate, bro. That's cap. Okay. Anything? Someone disagrees with that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, definitely. So,
What's long? When's the last time you had sex?
and that alone, like, this man said that women cannot be celibate. That is stupid. Like, what? It's just dumb. Like, you have to be able, okay, so before I even say anything, I'm going to say I enjoyed myself on the podcast. Like, I know who I am as a person. I'm very self-aware, and I'm very confident in who I am as a person. So somebody saying words to me is not going to bother me. So hearing another person's perspective, i.e. why I made Perspective the podcast, it's interesting to me. I like to hear different sides, especially when it comes from men, because that's an experience I will never be able to experience, ever. One of my favorite podcasts, it's on everything and YouTube. It's called Enjoy the Podcast. It's 3 men, and they they touch on the same topics and they pretty much say the same things, but their delivery is completely different, and they've learned from their mistakes, so like they can differentiate the two, and they call themselves evolved men. So it just gives me an idea of how men think in general, but of course it might not be to this extent, because that is obviously an opinion that he's perpetuating on his podcast, which is okay because it's his platform. So it's like everybody has a right to like express themselves, say what they want, whatever. But I do want to point out a specific part after he, because also this is a business. So like they make money, their fans send them money. So they know they need to be able to appeal to a certain type of public in order to make their podcast work, you know? So he said something and he literally stuttered and corrected himself. I'm going to show you guys. Now let's watch.
Someone disagrees with that? Yeah.
Watch my face.
Definitely.
I said, yeah, definitely.
When's the last time you had sex?
He stuttered and he was going to say, when's the longest, when was the last time you had sex? Because he knows celibacy has nothing to do. Nobody said, his question was not, are you celibate? Okay, like what? Like what? His original statement was like if a girl says she's single, then she's smashing. Yeah, women aren't celibate. Like what? Women can't be celibate. Excuse me? And then he stuttered because he knew the question that he was asking to get a certain reaction, right? At least that's what I think, but I don't know. But he almost corrected himself. His following question should have been, what's the longest amount of time you haven't had sex for? Like you've gone without sex. And then he corrected himself and he said, when's the last time you had sex? Like what? That was not the question. So it's like, even if we say yesterday, that doesn't mean celibacy does not exist within women, you know? So pretty much after that, he just goes around the table trying to prove his point, saying that like, oh, women are not celibate. You guys all had sex last month, maybe 2 months ago max, da-da-da-da-da, this and that. So it's just like, you know, you have to, and let me also say, this is not the type of podcast you go on 100 trying to prove somebody wrong or change somebody's mind. Like at the end of the day, you can't change somebody. You can provide the knowledge, but you can't make somebody change their mind. Like you could lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it. Okay? So this was not the type of podcast you go on there and you're like, oh, these men are so ignorant, I'm going to change the way they think. No. Like offer your knowledge. If they leave with it, they leave with it, you know? But like at the end of the day, you said what you said and you stood in that. Here we go. This one's going to be a little bit of a longer one, a little bit of a longer segment.
Because girls are down. Like, if you
Yes.
don't say,
No,
straight
don't
up.
put the cap
Girls
on, 'cause
always
I'm not
say that,
capping.
right? Here's the problem. If I tell you to your face, I just want to fuck, two
Yes.
things are gonna happen. You'll
What?
be like, ew, that's too straightforward. Or, I might give him a chance, but no, I know that's all he wants.
Yep.
I'm gotta actually want more than that.
No,
so it's
there-
like, come on now, let's be real here.
There's females out there that are like, okay, that's fine. Like,
A
'cause they
small
want some-
percentage.
Who?
A small percentage.
Name
You're
one.
not looking.
Name one. Name
You're
one.
not
With your
looking.
intention.
You're
Name
not
one.
looking.
So how many
Trust
guys
me.
have told you that and then you went for it?
I never went for it. I'm
Exactly.
just
Oh,
saying.
okay.
I'm not doing that. But I know there's females out there
Girls
that
say
like they would
they
whatever.
want the truth. They can't handle the truth. I'm telling you.
Okay,
That's what niggas like.
let's be honest here. If I lined up 100 girls and I told every single one of them, hey, by the way, I just want to fucking have zero interest in getting to know you, how many of them would actually have sex with me?
Is that the first
Okay,
thing
but
you're going to
that's-
say to them?
They are gonna find
you're
some
lining
girls.
them
Hold on.
up.
Yeah,
Hold on.
yeah,
If
hold
you
on.
approach someone and you're like, I want to fuck you.
Hold on.
And then he's gonna be like,
let's not
shift the discussion.
Go
Why
for
would
it.
you just line 100 women up and be like, do you want to fuck me? Do you want to fuck me? Do you want to fuck me? Like, anyway, we're continuing.
Discussion is, why don't you just be honest?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm asking you a simple question. If I lined up 100 girls and I told every single one of them, I just want to have fornication, nothing else. How many of them would tell me,
Nope.
how many?
You heard me
You're
say
not a player.
Out of 100.
You're
All
not
of
a
them,
player.
all of them.
See,
All of
a
them.
real player
All of them.
can get a girl to say yes. Okay, that's fine. I just want to fuck too, or
Okay.
I just want to be with you.
Can
yes.
you please answer the question?
Okay.
How many of the 100 women would say no?
In that situation.
About,
Hold on, let her answer.
I would say around like 70.
No. Let's keep it realistic. Like 95 of them are going to say no.
Yeah.
The only time women are okay with a man being that overt with his sexual intentions is when money is exchanged. Period. Most girls are going to have a point of issue with you saying, I just want to fuck, and nothing else. Guys
so
have
there's
to
a
lie
lot
to
of
get
things
laid
he said
most
in
of the
that.
time.
That was just like all over the place. So his main point trying to be that men have to lie in order to have sex. His way of proving that was to say, if I line 100 women up, ask them all, I just want to fuck you, nothing else. I just want to fuck you. I just want to fuck you. I just want to fuck you. How many would say yes? Do they know you? There's outlying factors. Why would I ever even get that close to a stranger? Like, oh, you just see me in Walmart. Oh, you're beautiful. I want to fuck you. Is that okay? Like, would you be down for that? Like, why would you say that to me? Why would you say that to anybody? You know, like his points were not, the way he tried to justify his point pretty much invalidated his whole entire statement. But they just kept reiterating like men have to lie in order to have sex. And we're going to get into another part really soon, but like what? There are women that just want sex sometimes, and that's also okay. But are there women, and there's also women that'll say yes, and that's also okay. But the likelihood of it is just not real. I want to know who you are. Do I even like you? Do I like your vibe? Do you know this? Like, we can get into that too, but it's like, I'm exchanging energy with you. You could literally be Satan reincarnated. Like, why? Like, who are you is my question. Like, who are you? Why I'm having sex with you? Why would I say yes to you? Like, who are you and how do I know you? You know? Anyway, so we're going to move on to the next little segment here. Like, also, I just can't believe she said that. But
It's a gamble.
Every second.
Russian roulette. Is she gonna smash me? Is she not? Do I need to take her on a dinner date? Do I not? So it's like, it's bad odds, bro. It's not looking good for regular guys to tell the truth.
That's why you got to
That's
get them
true.
at the right location, like the club. They're drinking. They want to have fun. Yes.
True.
Yes.
Hold up.
That's a little
Oh.
predatory.
That's the worst.
I've told on the show
Who
many
else?
times. Girls want to go have fun with their girls when they go out, right? So guys are pushing them to smash is like maybe 2% the most. That's not good odds for guys.
You gotta have game. That's all I gotta say.
Listen,
You gotta know.
even with game, there are certain things that girls are not gonna do off rip.
Okay,
Yeah.
and
And
let
look,
me go on to
I can
say
lie to
that
you.
having
I'll tell you some
game
lies. Then it might
is
work.
lying
If
to
it-
which is what
if it
game
is
is
true.
lying.
Yeah,
What's
game is
the
lying,
lie?
literally.
I
If
hate
it's truth, it ain't gonna happen that easy.
I really hate a wolf in sheep clothing. I really
show
do.
that I was
Like,
on.
I
It wasn't
really
as bad
do.
as
You know why
other
niggas
ones,
gotta do that?
honestly.
But it works
You
for you,
tell
don't
them
it?
the truth, but they can't tell the
They
truth.
the worst. Like,
Wait,
I'd
wait,
rather
wait,
you
wait,
be
wait,
upfront
but-
with me than just be fake.
That's game,
But
though.
fresh, it
That is a very thing you're
it
complaining
works for her,
about.
though.
That is game. That is game.
So it works.
Game is
They do have 80. That one video got 89,000 views, and it's only been 4 or 5 days. It's only been up for 5 days. So, like, this has to be appealing to some type of people. You know, this has to be how some group of people think. So it's good to have these different perspectives in mind when dealing with people and maneuvering through life. So he pretty much was saying that having game is lying to women in order to have sex. That is purely their opinion. Like, that's not a fact. That's not a truth, you know? I don't see game, or maybe that's their definition, because at one point in the show, he does say, by men's definition, you're not this and this and that. So I guess men have a different dictionary, but my personal definition, right? Having game is just being able to sauce. You're saucy, you're flirty. Like, you know, you might know what somebody wants, you smooth, whatever. And if you're doing that solely for sex, that's manipulation. But having game is being saucy. Like, it's being saucy. If you can't get a woman to have sex with you without just looking in her eyes and lying, babe, you gotta look back in the mirror. You gotta look, there's a problem somewhere, okay? So, that's what I gotta say about that. We have a couple more clips, of course. So this clip is going to be a little bit longer, so I won't be pressing the screen so much.
Oh, broke up with him then?
Pretty much, yes.
Why'd you?
Okay, so this clip, they asked about opinions, right? They're like, oh, do you guys have any questions to ask? Whatever, whatever, whatever. So I asked a question about my situation to hear how this man thinks, to think if the man that I'm dealing with thinks the same way that they do, if they have that likelihood or likeness or whatever if in common, whatever. And honestly, I don't have to explain myself to anybody. Anyway, so we're recording. Here we go.
To Miami.
Honestly, there was nothing left for me in Orlando. There's no growth for me. It felt repetitive, so I wanted a new environment.
Okay, what are you doing down here now?
What am I doing? I started my talk show. I have my own business. I'm just like focusing on myself. What the fuck is up with that?
Damn.
That's a little more than a cap, babe.
I just find it no cap.
Precisely in the boy. But yeah, like right now, I'm doing me, finding myself because I am 23 years old, but I am starting to build a serious career for myself and move forward in that.
Okay, so if you really loved him like that, why didn't you incorporate in Orlando?
He was not on the same, he wasn't ready to move down here. Like, that means we would have to live together, and that is a big step because I need my space. Like, you know, like we need space to grow as individuals. We're young. Why would I want to commit to something like that so early? If that makes any sense.
No, I completely understand. I'm getting somewhere. I'm just asking a few questions to make sure I understand.
I'm trying to look at your thinking face. I'm trying to gauge like where we're going with this.
No, I mean, it's just very important that I know these facts so I can give you.
I'm actually going to pause it right there because I just had a revelation. And when I said, somebody literally, I think, pays to say, oh, if she needs space, red flag, red flag. But honestly, I keep saying that we have to grow as individuals, and I wasn't ready to commit to who, like, yes, that situation, but also I wasn't ready to commit to who I was at that moment. Like, I still felt like I could grow, but I didn't feel like I can grow with that person. So I just had an aha moment. Take that with a grain of rice. That has nothing to do with this, but I felt like sharing because it was on my mind. Here we go.
The best, like, give you the best reality. You might not like what I'm going to say, but I'm going to be honest.
I'll take it.
So, all right, so you came down to Miami to incorporate your business, which you could have done in Florida. I'm sorry, in Orlando, by the way, because you would have stayed in Florida. But the reality is you were no longer attracted to him because he lacks ambition and isn't earning as much money as you would like.
I wouldn't say it was the money factor. The ambition, absolutely. The money factor wasn't too much of anything because, again, we are young, so it's the cost of living is not.
The reason why I said it like that is because the reality is someone that's extremely ambitious, there's no way they're going to be broke. Money is a man's financial status is typically 9 out of 10 times, unless they're a trust fund baby, it's a direct reflection of their tenacity.
I agree with that.
Someone that earns a lot of money has a certain characteristics and a mindset that if you line up 100 millionaires, self-made, they're all going to have these same characteristics. So if he didn't have a certain go-getter attitude that you're looking for.
Yes.
Okay, so you clearly is like, okay, this guy's the best option. I'm going to move somewhere that has more potential for me, better men, because there's better men here in Miami than there are in Orlando. Let's keep it 1,000.
Of that, but I'm not going against it.
Let's stop the cap. Let's stop the cap. Like, we know, like, there's higher earners here in Miami than there are in Orlando, period.
Absolutely.
And there's more things to do down here in Miami than there is Orlando. There's more opportunity for you as a young, attractive woman. Yeah, from both a dating standpoint and from a business opportunity. So you're like, I'm moving down here. So what it really comes down to is you like him, but you don't necessarily respect him. Because if you did, you would have brought him with you, or you would have tried to figure out a way. Because his ambition doesn't rise to yours, right? That's an uncomfortable truth. I know you don't want to say that.
It's not that I don't respect
Here
him.
we go, man. Here we go. Here we go. We want to live see what she was saying. Listen, if a woman breaks up with you, you know what? I'll take some of the burden off you. If a woman initiates a breakup with you, she automatically doesn't respect you. And the reason why is because women need to respect you first before they love you. Period. So
I agree with that end statement.
So you can say, oh, I do respect him, but the reality shows otherwise.
But there's a but always.
You don't respect him. But that's another situation. We don't have to get into there because I know.
I'll stop there really quick just to say, so he said, if a woman initiates a breakup with you, it's because she doesn't respect you, period. A woman has to respect you before she loves you. And then on the show, I even said, I was like, I definitely agree with that end statement that you said, that a woman has to respect you before she loves you. But if a woman puts her own self-respect before whatever is going on. It might not mean she doesn't respect you as a person, but if she wants to put herself first or anything like that. Okay, so sorry, my camera died. But a woman can put her own self-respect before anything else in this world. So if she says that she like, her breaking up to you does not equate to she doesn't respect me. Like, that just doesn't sound right. But we'll finish the clip. There's a minute left of this one.
Oh, you don't want to actually verbalize that. We're live on air. Fine.
Yeah, thank you.
All I'm going to simply say is this. Assuming he gets his shit together and makes his money.
I'm in love.
Cool. But here's the problem. Your value depreciates every single day. His doesn't. If he gets his shit together.
Elaborate.
I was like, yeah,
Unfortunately,
speak up.
women are, you guys, with time, you guys lose value. Men with time, if they work hard and they get their shit together, they add value.
Why do you
I literally said elaborate, and he just reiterated.
say that though? Why do women lose value?
Okay, men universally, studies show it, between 18 years old to all the way to 60 years old, want women between the ages of 18 to 24.
And
Why is that though?
beauty fades.
I'm black.
May get more money. Oh, let's be real here. For how long? 36.
It was so funny because the girls like snapped their necks to look at me. Like, what does she mean by that? Black doesn't crack, babe. Like, what?
35, 40.
I think one
I'll
of the
take
biggest...
45 also aging.
Okay, so if a man makes a certain amount of money, why is he going to marry a woman who's 45 years old that is past her prime and can no longer give him children? Why would he do that?
70. You're probably 70 years old. That's like 30 years difference.
Okay, do you want to marry...
Okay, well, anyway. So with that one, he was he was saying that women's value depreciates after the age of 25 because shit's not sitting right anymore, face is sagging, stuff like that. I don't even really have to get into that too much because that's just stupid. Like, that's just absurd. I do completely understand his point when he says a man's value gets higher as he gets older and gets more money. I agree with that. I completely agree with that. Like, older rich men, babe, that's the dream. Like, that is literally the dream. But just because he is also attractive does not mean I'm less attractive. He literally threw out a number age range saying that men between the ages of like 30 all the way up to 60 would rather prefer women between the ages of 18 and 24. What? That's predatory, number one. That's weird, you know? Number two, why? You know? So in a second, I'm going to let it play a little more. He does say something else, and I literally, because I knew I was going to react to this video or do whatever I did on my channel as well. So, because I obviously knew we were going to have differing opinions because we are two different people, and he has a right to his opinion. He's entitled to his opinion, to his thoughts, everything like that, and to his platform, just as I do, you know? So, he didn't make any any factual truths about that at all whatsoever. You guys always have to keep in mind that when learning another person's perspective, it could solely be based on an opinion. And what are you gonna do? Like, the only thing I can do there is serve facts, but I don't have like a spreadsheet in front of me. We didn't have our phones because obviously it would be a distraction, anything like that. So it's just absurd. Like, what? Like, I am literally in my prime. If you thought I peaked, I'm pretty much right here up the hill. It gets so much better from here. Like, what? Okay, we're going to go on to the next segment.
percentage of the U.S. population.
Understandable.
Last time I checked, beautiful women are abundant, successful men aren't. So you got to get on their program.
Understandable.
So,
I agree
women
with
not
that.
willing to settle and thinking that they deserve more is going to perpetually keep them single. And if you want that type of guy, you might get him, but you're gonna have to share him with other women sexually. So that's another uncomfortable truth that women really don't know a lot of the times is you get a 6-foot guy that looks good that got money, bro, you're gonna have to share him. Sexually, at least. You might have his heart, but you're gonna have to fuck. He's gonna probably fuck other girls.
Yeah, that's not fair. I feel like that's all men until they reach a certain level of maturity where they choose monogamy, though. All men are fucking dogs. Like, a woman having sex with like anybody else, it's more emotional rather than anything else. But it's like, a man can literally fuck a fucking grapefruit. Like, it's dirty. It's nasty.
Well, men and women
And
don't.
it's-
I mean, how warm is a grapefruit, though?
Some men never mature.
Here's the thing, ladies. Like, it's not immature for a man to run around and have sex with women. It's what we're designed to do. Just like you're. Yes, men are designed to spread their seed far and wide. Women
Who
are designed.
designed you?
Same person that designed you.
Like what? Like what? Like what? He said, okay, the gist of what I got from what he said is that men were not meant to be monogamous. Like he was pretty much telling us to describe the ideal guy that we want. So everybody was going around the table, they're saying like, oh, 60K a year, 70K a year, 100K a year, like 5'8". This one girl said like 6'5", whatever, between this age range, between this race. And they were like, you're not going to get that. You're not going to get that because that is unlikely. Lower your standards. You're not going to get that. It's unlikely. And then on top of that, he went on to say that if you do get lucky enough to get what you want, right, you're going to have to share that person sexually. Pretty much saying that men cannot be monogamous if they're attractive at a certain height and they make a certain amount of money. Just because they have options, they cannot be monogamous, which is also ridiculous. You have to, the whole time I just want to keep repeating, you have to think of the people that they're trying to, like their ideal demographic and like their ideal, the people that support them, the people that send them money and everything like that. Realistically, if I meet a guy, like if my standards are, let's say like 60K a year just so he's financially stable, like let's say 6 foot and black, right? And I fall in love with a Puerto Rican man who is 5'10" and makes whatever the fuck a year, enough to sustain himself and like responsibly and still be able to keep up with everything that like I want to do, as in like traveling and doing everything like that, then why would I not give that man a chance? Like to me, all of this just, it makes, it's literally like common sense, but you also have to just take into consideration people are entitled to their opinions. People are entitled to feel however the way they feel, talk however they want to talk, anything like that. But to me, that just doesn't make any sense. Like, I understand that as a man gets older and he makes more money, he's considered a high value man, right? He's considered more like wanted. He has more options and everything like that. I get that. But that is not saying that no matter what, you're gonna like get used to it. Like, put the idea in your head, you're gonna have to share him sexually. Period. And then I was talking about that I feel like all men are like that, but not even all men. I feel like all people are like that. That's why cheaters exist even within fucking broke boy communities. That's why kids were cheating in middle school on each other, high school on each other. Like, we weren't thinking about how much you make a year. Like, we weren't thinking about anything like that until you reach, this is my personal perspective on relationships, and I'm definitely going to do an episode on it, but I want to be in an a mature, non-ethically monogamous relationship, okay? So that's another way of saying an open relationship without other people just assuming that, oh, you guys are together and you just get to fuck whoever you want, you get to talk to whoever you want, like whatever, because that's not the case. I feel as though if I'm building a connection with somebody, I want them to live their life to the fullest, right? I want them to be their ultimate best selves. And if they meet somebody who could potentially be the best fit for them, I want them to explore that while communicating to me the entire situation. Like, hi, I met this girl, I want to like go on a date with her. If you're just doing it to have sex, if you're just open to have sex with other people, then I don't know much about that. So I don't have too much of an opinion on it. Like, you do you. But at the end of the day, I just feel like being open like that before even committing to like a serious relationship allows both people to come together at the end of the day and be like, I choose you. Like, you are the one I want. Like, I know you're giving me the openness to go do whatever I want, but it's you that I'm choosing, and it's you that I want to choose every day. Like, once we get to that place, that's when we can be in a relationship. But if we're not there, then we can be open, get to know each other deeply, and communicate to each other. But like, to even have that type of relationship, you would have to really trust that the person is being truthful to you, can be honest, and isn't lying or anything like that. Because even you give somebody a football field and they'll still go play basketball across the street. Like, you give someone an inch, they take a mile. Like, you let them know that it's open, they still lie to you. Like, be honest, babe. Anyway, we are gonna go on to the next segment. Yeah.
Well, why should we settle on one woman? That's actually one of the dumbest things you can do. Men gain power, status, and wealth to fuck as many women as they want. That's the truth.
The girl saying, I felt her on that. Because it's just like, how are you saying that some people's only driving factor is to have sex with as many women as possible? That is not even a generalization. That is literally a specific, that's you speaking on you and your experience, maybe with your boys, with your friends, like people you've come in contact with, maybe, but like, that's who you're surrounded with. I know so many, all of my guy friends are ambitious. Getting bitches, getting girls, getting women, having sex is just like a result of their ambition. They're not striving, like, I don't even want to throw names out, but it's just like, my friend that makes music is not trying to get a Grammy just so he could fuck 14 girls. Like, that, like, what? That doesn't even sound right. That doesn't, like, that's dumb. Continue. I digress. Whatever.
Thing here.
Baby, you don't know what loyalty is.
Oh my goodness. That's finish her.
Yeah, he's gonna.
I literally said, finish me. Finish me.
I already know what you're gonna say. When a man talks about loyalty with a woman, it typically means sexual fidelity.
On his side.
No.
Is that what he's expecting from me?
Your side.
On your side.
That's what he's expecting from me?
Yes.
Unless I clarify and tell him, if you're doing you, I will be doing me. I am loyal to you emotionally until otherwise.
Emotions again.
What? You don't like emotions?
Niggas don't get.
It's a part of life.
Guys are emotional.
Yo,
They're emotional.
niggas
Guys are emotional.
No, they're emotional, but to an extent.
All right, so wait. So in life, it's like if I was a plant, I feel like growing today. Maybe I feel like doing certain things. Listen, emotions are part of life. You gotta do what you gotta do. Either suck my dick or get the fuck out.
I'll get the fuck
I
out.
feel like all guys are
I'll
like
open the
that.
door for myself and close it on the way out too.
But you're harping on the emotional side. That nigga's gonna go where his dick wants him to go.
Yeah.
Emotions are gonna be like, out the other areas. Like, it's like, it don't even hold weight at all, honestly. So.
Until he loses that person.
So we get another one. We in Miami.
What are you doing here?
Listen.
So you don't
okay.
think any man can be faithful?
Honestly,
It's a choice.
it has to be a choice, and he'd have to be like, he's a small minority. To find that guy, you better off just like.
Well, hold on. Because that's a kind of a two-pronged question that we got to answer. But for your thing, you said that we were talking about you're loyal to him. Mm-hmm. Okay, if you line up 100 guys, 99 of them are going to assume loyalty means sexual fidelity. So by male definition, you are not loyal whatsoever. Doing your own thing constitutes you not being loyal. Because most men are not okay with sharing a woman sexually whatsoever.
But if I'm open about it, it's not disloyal.
Yes, it is.
I mean, you're honest about your disloyalty, but it doesn't change the fact that it's disloyal. So if I murder someone and I confess to it, does not change whether I confess to it or don't, does not change the fact that I murdered someone. In the eyes of most men, that is considered disloyalty. Men don't have many requirements of women. We really don't. But one of the biggest ones is sexual fidelity. And there's a bunch of biological reasons for that.
I understand that.
I said, I hear you. I understand. It's just like, I hear you, we see you. Okay? Okay, so to dive into what he's saying, he was saying that it was about loyalty. So if a man, there's another part where he goes into the differences between loyalty in women and loyalty in men. My thing is that he doesn't see humanity as a whole. He sees two different species, point blank, period. You're not like me at all. For them to even say, first of all, the producer, he was drunk. So his statement didn't make any sense. He said, if I'm a plant, do I decide to grow today? I don't decide to grow tomorrow. Emotions are not a part of life. That's how it is. Suck my dick or get the fuck out. And I said, I'll get the fuck out and close the door behind me. Like, what are you talking about? But they were pretty much saying that loyalty, like a man, when he says he wants a woman that's loyal, he expects sexual, like that's a physical thing for him. Oh, I'm expecting you to be loyal. That's what loyalty is to me. So you're pretty much saying that if I go talk to somebody else, that's not being disloyal. If that's the case, if we're talking monogamy here, like that's not being disloyal. And if I'm communicating to you the entire situation and you tell me you're doing you and I tell you I'm going to do me and we choose to still commit to each other emotionally, that is still a commitment. You can be loyal to that commitment. Point blank, period. Like, if you guys have any opinions or if you think I'm wrong, I'm okay with admitting when I'm wrong. But to me, in the two cases of like how my way of thinking and how he communicated his way of thinking, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. If we're going to use the word loyalty, we need to have one definition for the word loyalty, point blank, period. But I am going to I've been saying that a lot this episode. I'm going to let the next part play because that's when he talks about the differences between men's loyalty and a woman's loyalty. And there's only one more clip after this one. Oh. I'll just let it play for a second. Hold on.
So that's why a woman saying I'm doing her thing or whatever, you are by definition disloyal to 99% of men.
He's picturing something in your
I
mouth.
think he's at point
Go
one.
back and forth.
Why would he picture that? Just close your eyes. Close your eyes.
Of you being loyal is like.
Yeah, but he's here.
He's picturing that right now.
Now, here's the other thing that's going to blow your guys' minds, because you asked another question about who asked it? Was you, right?
No.
Or no, you? Yeah. Faithful. Can a man be faithful? Well, loyalty and faithfulness are different for the two genders.
Okay. New segment.
It's another question about who asked it? Was you, right? No, you? Yeah. Faithful. Can a man be faithful? Well, loyalty and faithfulness are different for the two genders. A man shows loyalty by taking care of you, protecting you, willing to die for you. A woman shows loyalty by not fucking other dudes. We're very, very different. Because a woman, the reason why I say that is because a woman can't have sex with another man if she loves and respects her husband. A man is not going to lay his life and die for a woman that isn't his wife. That's the big difference. That's why a man can fuck another woman without issues and still love his wife. And a woman, is not going to fuck a dude if she loves her husband. It's just not going to happen. We're very different in how we show love and faith and loyalty, which is why I said by your definition, you are disloyal.
So one thing that I will say is I truly believe that women are very emotional, mature beings. I feel like we will always be. It's how our anatomy is set up. It's how our brain works. It's how our it's just, I'm sure we can look that up somewhere, and I'm sure I'm right about that because I heard it in school. So, whatever. That's why even when we're in school, when I was a preschool teacher, they would always say that the girls would mature. And I got to see it in children who didn't even have opinions like this, didn't get to experience the world like this. So like, it was just true nature that girls mature faster than boys. Girls potty train first. Girls start talking first usually. It's like stuff like that, you know? Their fine motor skills, their gross motor skills. It comes in a little sooner than the boys do sometimes. You know, there's always, I'm not going to say that it's just impossible to happen otherwise. So one thing that I feel like I agree with is that if I love and respect you as a person, I don't think I would go elsewhere for sex. Do I think it's impossible to love and respect somebody and still have sex with somebody else? Well, I don't know. I don't know how y'all be doing it, but when I be doing it, it's like it's a connection, you know? Like, if I love and respect somebody, I just feel like I would emotionally not be able to live with the guilt. I feel like I would feel guilty afterwards, you know? Like, that's another emotion that would come afterwards. Is it possible to do it? Of course. Can you enjoy yourself while doing it? Of course, you know? But I'm not going to say it's not a thing, but that's one thing that I will agree with that he said, is that your wife will not, if she loves and respects you, she won't go have sex with somebody else, but a man can just go have sex with anybody without thinking twice about it. I also agree with that. I don't think it's a positive thing at all on men's side. I don't think it's anything to be proud of, but that doesn't change the fact that loyalty is loyalty. Like, a man can show his love for me by providing, for going to die for me, or whatever else he said, but his loyalty to me stands. The definition of loyalty, you know, it's not, okay, you're a man, this is loyal for you. You're a woman, this is loyal for you. It's just not how that works. There's a definition of the word, period. That's what it is. And so this is our last segment that we're going to go over. Of course, if you guys want to watch it, they have it. It's streamed live, but they have it up on their account right now. And it is 3 hours long, though. So just bear in mind.
We're finding them in there alone with cats and dogs.
So, question.
It's keeping it real.
Wait. Question. Raise your hand if you have a ring on your finger right now. Exactly.
Oh, wait.
So,
I mean,
what does that have to do with anything?
I'm
Because-
22 years old. I'm not trying to
point?
get married. Like, yeah,
Because it's not realistic, the standards you guys have.
I'm also 23. Like,
Okay.
I'm not planning on getting married right now.
Okay. All right.
So-
Fair enough.
That's cool. That's
All
cool.
right.
Nothing wrong with pushing back marriage, but I'm just giving you guys the real advice is that as you get older, your negotiating power goes down to get the best man to marry. That's all I'm saying.
So it's better to marry now when we're young and fertile.
Don't do it.
Nah.
Don't
Damn.
do it.
You know what's
Hear my
funny?
voice? Huh.
The whole society.
So he is literally, like I said in the beginning, I do watch another podcast just to get another perspective. I really enjoy listening to the male perspective when they can speak clearly on what they're saying and recognize when it's fact and when it's opinion. And they would consider themselves evolved men because of it. But he just said that, this is like caveman talk, so that's why I brought that up. He just said that it's better to marry when you're young and fertile, because after 25, your value goes down. If that's what we're talking about, menopause doesn't happen till your 40s. So there's that. Okay, so if you want someone fertile, have someone fertile. Boom. I don't see any 6-year-old man, like, that's not insane, that has his sanity, that wants to get a 21-year-old pregnant. There's also that. Whatever. The other guy, again, the producer, he was the one talking when he said, oh, you don't have a ring on your finger, this and this and that. Like, what does that mean? Just because we're not married physically right now, what does that mean? You know? Anyway, that gives you the gist. I think I didn't really talk much for the rest of it. And then they also just did like a reaction video to something that was online. So if you want to watch it, again, you can go ahead and watch it. Fresh and Fit podcast. It was streamed I'm like the picture. Like, I'm the preview picture, so you'll see which one I'm in. But with all of this being said, I just want to remind people that just because you hear something or you see something, you don't have to let that anger you. Okay? There are people that can form their own opinions and they think it's their truth. You just know that, okay, this is not somebody that I'm going to try to convince to change. Also, me sitting there fighting and going back and forth with him, they're the type of aggressive dominant men, not like aggressive like in a fully negative way, but like those red pill alpha type of men that it will just be like, okay, but this, okay, and then here, and then here, and then here, and then throw out numbers and then throw out statistics that we are not able to check. Like we can't fact check that in that moment because we don't have our phones. We can't just like pull it out and start looking stuff up and things of that nature. So if you're just throwing this stuff at me, I'm just going to sit there and be quiet because I, A, am not going to argue with you. B, I don't care to change your mind. And C, I'm not going to speak out of my ass just so that you can throw an actual fact at me and then I'm sitting there looking stupid. So that was just like not the vibe I was on. I enjoyed meeting the girls and I did like the conversation though, because again, the other podcasts I watch and listen to, Enjoy the Podcast, they, just like this podcast, find value in Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels. You know that guy that just be talking? And he just be talking and talking and talking and talking. And the way that they address the things Kevin Samuels says, they will reiterate the same exact thing with a different delivery and be like, I used to do that. I have reflected. This is how I think now, aka the evolved man. I feel like they're still stuck on the Kevin Samuels stage, and I see what you're saying and what you're communicating and everything like that. But then on our episode, it genuinely wasn't too bad. When I did my research on other episodes, they kept repeating and repeating and repeating that there's no such thing as a high value woman. There's no such thing as a high value woman. But they said a high value woman does not exist without a high value man. I don't get that. And then if when they ask you what you bring to that man, like what are you providing to the 6'3", 150,000 a year, black man, handsome, tall, dark, handsome, money, right? What do you bring to the table that's going to keep him with you? And then we'll say emotional stability. We're his this, we're his that. And they start laughing. Like, what are you expecting me to say? You want me to bring finances to a man that's, like, good? He doesn't want my money. Like, he doesn't want my money. There's a polarity in everybody. So to me, the whole thing was just it was definitely an experience, and I would want to go on. I think I got lucky with the girls that I was on with because they were all very, like, they were quiet. I'm not even going to lie. I was going to say they're very, like, nobody was rowdy. Nobody was trying to, like, fight them. Nobody got kicked out because they be doing that to people. And also, understandably so, like, I see when they kick people out, and it's usually when they just lessen the quality of the show altogether. Like, they start talking over each other. They get too drunk. They, like, say something. Actually, this one girl got kicked out for saying that everyone in Islam was a terrorist. And he was like, okay, absolutely not. Like, absolutely not. Like, obviously, like, there are certain standards and everything like that. But if we can all sit down and have a discussion, regardless of our differing opinions, I feel like that is productive at the end of the day. I'm able to really think of, like, is this what I think loyalty is? Okay, now that I heard what he's talking about, I'm going to talk to somebody else. I'm going to talk to somebody else, and I'm going to form my opinion. Is that not how society works? Is that not how humanity works? Like, we can learn from each other. We can grow from each other. Things of that nature. At least I believe so. I think that's pretty much it. I did enjoy my time on the podcast. They're so professional. If you are strong in your opinion and can respectfully also speak back, I would recommend for other women to go on, because there are girls that go on there and they just kind of talk and they kind of don't make sense. Like, I'm not going to say whom, but somebody on that same episode was just like, let's talk about open relationships. I was like, oh, girl, let's talk about it. And then when she started talking about it, she was like, okay, but yeah, if I'm not getting cheated on like every weekend, I'm cool with it. Like maybe every 1 to 2 years. I'm like, what? Cheating is still a thing in an open relationship. The only thing that changes cheating and consensually doing what you have to do within your relationship is the communication factor. You're like, there's just a lot of people that I feel like speak on when they're not educated on the topic that they might be speaking on, or they might base it solely on. She also brought up like, oh, like Will and Jada's relationship with August Alsina. Like, you don't know anything about that. We only know that she was entangled with August and they had a deep relationship. Like, August fell in love with her. So that's not just like they're going out on the weekends, finding whoever, whatever. Oh, he's cheating on me, this and this and that. Like, there's always context that needs to be applied to situations. But I also wanted to say, ladies and gentlemen, you can only grow from hearing differing opinions. If you're surrounded by the same opinions and yes men and people that just agree to everything you agree to, act like they're on the same tip you are, you're not going to learn anything from it. You're not going to learn anything from it. That's why traveling is so important, and like it means so much to me, because when I get to go to a different culture, I can learn about that culture. I can immerse myself and just really understand it better, rather than sitting at home just like spitting shit about Spain, never been there, and whatever. Like, that's me trying to tell you about Istanbul, knowing that I've never been to Istanbul. You know, like, you have to be able and open to gain knowledge from differing opinions in order to grow as a person. And I will stand by that. Like, I had a great time. I'll probably go on again. I probably won't agree with them again, and that's okay. We'll talk about it. Like, that's what life is. That's what growing is, and that's what it's all about, at least to me. So I'm not going to generalize either. Like, at least to me, that's what life's about. Like, my life, I genuinely believe one of my purposes is to just experience life for what it is, experience people for who they are, you know? Like that's great. If this doesn't work out long term, you were a great experience. I enjoyed learning about you, learning about different sides of you, the way you the way you communicate your emotions, the way that you talk to like your family, the way that you are. I can take pieces out of that and apply them to my own life to grow. Other than that, if I'm not learning from other people, period, because even Googling it online, you're learning from another source, you're learning from another person that wrote that, right? So if I'm not willing to learn from another person, I'm pretty much just taking wild guesses out into the world and just hoping that it works for me and trying to learn for myself. But I would rather not hurt myself in the process and just learn from other people, their mistakes, their perspectives, and everything like that. So yeah. Well, that's been another episode of Free Therapy. Thank you guys again for watching. Again, I will say my Instagram will be in the description. My email will be in the description. If you want to be on the show, come on down. It's literally me in my living room. There's a great view outside. It's really cute. It's really comfortable. There's nothing to be nervous about, because I know so many people are nervous. It'll be a good time. Get out of your comfort zone. Come on down. All right, guys. So thank you for watching. I will be doing this every week. Listen to me if you want. Listen to me if you don't. I'll be doing it anyway. I love you guys. Bye.
You've been wildin', blaming everything on your problems. I told you, you gotta keep it real with me. Send a long text and I ain't even bothered to read.